o'clock. Everybody wanna get started? Get this party rolling?
This time.
Call the meeting to order. We do a roll call with Board of Trustees.
Janet Kress.
Yes.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent. Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Alright. First order of business is to discussion of possible action to appoint a vice mayor to conduct meeting in the mayor's absence. We'll need a motion to select someone.
Make a motion to nominate Todd vice mayor.
I second that motion.
Had a motion, had a second. Roll call vote.
Okay, Chad, I'm sorry. Janet Kress.
Yes.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent. Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. There's
Yeah,
one song in there.
I don't need you to keep doing it.
I'm doing it.
You got it, okay. Okay, well, recognition of guests, thank you guys for coming.
Let me just check real quick if there's anyone that wants to address the board.
Okay. At this time, we'll, public comment. Audience may address the board in accordance with the rules and procedures set forth in Hochatown Resolution Number 10. Is that 2 minutes? I believe?
Yes, it's 2 minute limit, and we'll need Janet to tell us if anybody signed up.
Yeah.
Did you want to address?
Does anyone want to
No.
speak at all about anything?
Anybody signed up?
Wait a minute, no, we have we have one.
Did
Okay.
you have to sign it? Okay.
Just 1 second, purpose. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that said number 10, but it was actually a no, so. Very
No,
good.
we have no speakers today. All right, let's move on. Item number 6, consent docket. The following items are considered routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. Discussion desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent docket and considered separately. A, the approval of March 27th, 2024 special meeting minutes. Item number B, approval of the March 12th, 2024 special meeting minutes. Item C, approval of the March 6th regular meeting minutes. And then item D, approval of payment of claims.
I'd like to discuss something on the claims list, we just pulled it out.
Okay, we will,
The James Smith invoice for the searching, $570.
I'd also like to pull the Avenue invoices, so let's just pull
I don't-
all the claims separate.
I don't have any other invoices on there.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's even better, then we'll deal with it next month, and that'll give me more information before that. So there's no Avenue in the claims?
No.
Okay,
No.
all right, then I don't
No,
have anything to add. then.
yeah, Mayor asked me to not put them
Okay.
on there.
Great, thank you.
okay, so, we just had discussion of the, item D.
Yeah,
So-
hold on just a second, Todd, and I'll get that for you. I've got the copies. So Liz, do they?
I would make a motion to approve A, B, and
A, B, and
C,
C, and then
we'll
pull
pull
that
D
out?
out
Okay,
for item
gotcha.
7.
Do I got a motion to approve A, B, and C?
I'll make a motion to approve consent docket item A, B, and C.
Second that motion.
Have a second, so we have a motion and a second by Howard. The vote?
Okay, Janet Kress,
Yeah.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
and correct me if I'm mistaken, when did we as trustees approve to fund the CERT team in their trainings or any other needs that they may have? I just don't ever remember it coming up as a line item on an agenda. And in my opinion, the CERT team is great, but that's a county function, not a town function. And I think we need to be wise as to how we spend our city tax dollars on something that's a county funded or county funded. I'm just trying to get some feel from the rest of the board.
The only thing I'll say from a legal perspective is if it's not a town managed, owned employee, then it can be considered a donation, which we're not allowed to do. Now, we can enter into an interlocal agreement with whatever entity is over CRT.
And that's the reason I'm trying to bring it
Yeah,
up.
which
So-
we can do, but we haven't done that yet, but I don't think that we can legally technically donate,
That's the
which
reason
is
I'm
what
bringing
it
it up.
would be. Now, there's nothing that says we can't do an interlocal and be able to support these, which we'll discuss this on item 12 too. I think there's a way around it, not around it. There's a way to do item 12 without it being considered a donation. But this, I'm concerned that we need to discuss who is in charge of the CRT and how can we enter into an agreement with them so that we can support it. But otherwise, we're gonna have kind of the same problem we were gonna have with the fire department. We can't give them money without it being a donation, and towns are not allowed to donate. So what we may wanna do is table that till next month and discuss internally what sort of relationship the town's gonna have with CRT going forward, so that we can have some control or say, or be able to support their efforts, but legally, I don't know that we can technically pay that in the position we are right now.
Okay.
Just purely legally, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but.
You know, I have the same concerns as Howard, so, but I was just curious if we had
It's not that I'm against it, I'm really not, but I wanna make sure we as a township do what is legally right when it comes to our citizens' tax dollars. And donating it to an entity that we have no control over is against state statute.
What I
Did
would
I say that
suggest,
right? Pretty
yeah,
close?
we're not permitted to, it would be a violation of the state statutes. What I would suggest you do is just not necessarily deny that claim, but maybe pull it for this month and put it on next month, and I'll visit with Adam to determine what kind of options we have to be able to be in a position where we can do that, so we can present it to the trustees.
Yeah, because I mean, the cost has been incurred, so we, the money is owed, so.
But if I don't think it came to the trustees beforehand
It
to
wasn't.
approve as part of
Not
the.
approved by the
In
trustees.
advance. But even if it had it, we couldn't have approved it because it's not a town managed or owned, organization. So we're just prohibited from donating, and that sort of a thing, when it's not controlled by the town, is just automatically considered a donation.
But the CERT training doesn't, it's not, the CERT trained members are not designated for one town, it's a countywide deal, right?
Right, and we can enter in interlocal agreements, which is some of the things we're gonna talk about here in a minute, on 911 services and that sort of thing, because there's no doubt we benefit from it. But legally, we have to have documentation and approvals in place before we can do that sort of thing. So if that's something the trustees wanna consider being involved in and having interlocal agreements to promote and encourage the CRT team, we can do that.
Yeah, I definitely think we are.
We just have to hit the cart before the horse before the cart.
I think we should lead it up, because we've got a lot of responsibility to go that direction.
Well, especially when we're, trying to get our own emergency management stuff set up, but we don't have it yet. It's a critical service that I understand you guys all support and need, so we can get that worked out, but I would just say pull it for now and not approve or deny, but hold it off till
Do
next
we
month.
need a motion to remove this line item from the claims list?
I was fixing to
We
make
already
a motion.
approved.
I'd like to make a motion to remove that one item from the claim.
Yeah, you can
Put it
approve
on hold.
Make a motion to approve the entire claims list, but remove the James Smith request to be re-urged at a future meeting.
Okay, so that's your motion.
That's my motion.
So we need a second. We have a motion and a second to approve the claims list, removing the cert line item. Roll call vote.
Janet Kress. Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent. Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
All right, next one.
Business. Consent docket. We're on to number 8, the treasurer's report, and Chad will take care of that.
Yes, sir. All right, so, I have given you a profit and loss statement for March. You'll notice our income included avenue, revenues for lodging tax of $48,762.05. The town collected direct in taxes, $105,438.81. So the total for lodging tax collected, $154,200.86. Then we have cigarette tax that we received. It was $1,691.96. Our sales tax for that we collected last month was $196,015.50. Use tax was $3,248.19. So we had a total income of $355,156.51. The expenses came out to a total of $39,223. What is new in there are some payroll expenses, so you'll notice those expenses as well, including taxes that we match for payroll. So total expense was $78,151.12. So that less our income leaves us with a total profit, if you will, of $277,005.39. Next page is just a balance sheet showing the balance as of March 31, our bank account. And then if you subtract out the claims that we owe now of $27,760, less, of course, down to the 500 and some change that we did not, 570 that we did not approve. But leaving us with the total equity of $3,081,333.05. Any questions?
I have a quick question on the Heartland payment system, TXNS and fees.
Right.
This is probably the answer, but the end user, the payors are supposed to pay the fees on those. Is it that they're paying their amount for the lodging taxes plus the fees and that all goes in and then gets pulled out? Do you know?
I don't know. These are all, the receipts that we received from Avenue. I've never received a breakdown
Okay.
of those figures.
Yeah, because they're,
I was concerned
We're
about
not
that
supposed
too,
to get
because
paid.
remember that here 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago,
Yeah.
we were talking to Avenue.
no, that's what our agreement says.
And I asked them
specifically.
point blank, when will I see an invoice from you? And they said, you will never see an invoice from us. We will show you what we collected, we will deduct from that, and we'll deposit that in your checking account. That's what they
Well,
told us
that's
6
on,
months ago.
that's on, collections, and so this is gonna be
Payments.
the payment system.
Transaction
So
fees.
what we need to know is the transaction fee getting deposited? So say you're paying lodging tax and you're using your credit card, so it's gonna charge you 3% or whatever it does.
Mhm.
Is the amount being deposited your lodging tax plus the 3%, so then they're backing out the 3% that's not costing us any lodging tax that's due
Right.
to us? Or are they incorrectly charging us the fee? I'm gonna bet that it's the full amount that's going in, cause it's probably when you go check out, okay, I owe $10 and it's adding 30 cents to it, and we're getting 10.30 and then it's backing it out, but we need to know that.
Right.
Because we're not supposed to be losing any money
Right.
if somebody uses a credit card, it's supposed to be paid by just make sure, I'm guessing that's what's happening, but let's make
Yeah.
sure that we're not getting charged a fee that the agreement.
Did Heartland agree to that?
Yeah, the Heartland agreement specifically says you are charged to us, it's all to the credit card user.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very clear about that, cause we didn't wanna do it if it cost us anything, so it's being charged on the front end, but I'm gonna bet it's $10.30 and then the 30 cents is coming out later, but let's make sure.
Yeah, I have never seen fees being taken out either from Heartland or. And the reason I say that, it's spoken on somewhere, we have 2 invoices from Avenue.
Right, which is what I was gonna have pulled today, because I've already sent some questions to Mayor
Have you
about
seen
those.
those invoices?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, I've already got some
okay,
inquiries and questions I wanna answer before those are presented to the board for,
Yeah. thank you.
yeah.
You have the percentage that Heartland's charging?
I could look at the agreement and tell you,
Okay.
it's probably somewhere between 3 and 4% or something, you know, normal credit card fees. But again, it's not supposed to be to us, it's supposed to be, you know, whoever's checking out with their credit card. So if you wanna use your credit card, it'll say, like, I don't know if you ever go to the tag agency, that's how it is in Oklahoma. If you go to the tag agency and you wanna pay with to get your title or your tag at the tag agency and you wanna use your card, there's a 3% processing fee or whatever, and that
Yeah, a lot of
covers the
businesses
fee.
have done that.
They're not
Mhm.
on our end.
Okay.
So that's how it's supposed to be set up, I'm just wondering if it all comes through to us and then they pull it out. So it's not coming out of what's due to us, it's coming out of the fee that's getting all piled in together.
Yeah, we
But
just have to follow up.
we'll just make sure.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion on treasurer's report?
That sheet that I handed y'all, that's just an FYI sheet of the year-to-date since we started. Of what we collected year-to-date, total sales tax, total lodging tax, what Heartland has collected, and what their average per month for 4 months has been, of what they collected. That's just an FYI for you.
Any more discussion? All right, let's move on to number 9. Oh, I'm sorry. To accept the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to accept treasurer's report.
A second.
Roll call vote.
Janet Kress,
Yes.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent,
Yes.
the motion carries.
All right, on to number 9, discussion only, report by Hochatown's town administrator.
Alright, so, for starters, this month, we got our first ever animal license, animal sales license, permit that we distributed. Hope you guys like the design on that one. I figured I'd bring a copy of that here for you guys to take a look at.
So there's only one person, so.
There's only one permit that's been granted this time. Permit's good for 6 months.
Can we just, well,
You want
I
to
guess it
skip
would be-
me?
Well, I had something to mention on that, would I need to just bring that up at a different time on the animal sales permits? We'll visit afterwards and I guess something we need to add to it.
Okay, that'll work. If you guys want me to speed it up, just let me know. Pretty lengthy month this month. Took a lot of phone calls, emails, and complaints regarding Ebony services. Probably one of the most consistent complaints about their services right now is a temporary account registration number that's not being provided whenever applicants sign up for their system. Again, I take emails, phone calls all day long about issues that people have encountered with their systems. It's just, apparently it's not, the user interface isn't there for people to easily access and understand and report. Again, the board, I've been talking to each and every single one of you individually about the project. We're identifying workarounds for hearing the complaints, and we're putting a plan together to do something about it. Again, I've had multiple meetings regarding the SDR ordinances that we just put in place. You guys already know all about that one. Filled out the credit card application. Still don't know what the status is on that. Have we received that yet? Charles, have we gotten the credit card back?
We'll check.
Okay, Rita said it was supposed to be.
Yesterday, it wasn't.
Okay, the bank said it was supposed to be here, this week, so, not really sure what the status is on that, that's just taking a really long time. As a matter of fact, I've had to go out and buy a whole bunch of equipment for our office space here, which you'll see by the next meeting, off of my own card, so you'll see that in the rec request for me to get reimbursement on that, so, you'll just see that. Anyways, several meetings and workshops. This item actually is going to be on your agenda for today. I interviewed a whole bunch of different website artists, website crews, website companies, and the one that I'm recommending to you today has a wide package available of modules that I think that we need in this community. They've got planning and zoning, they've got internal permitting systems, they have contractors license tracking, so the contractor, everything can be done online at the convenience of your home or on your cell phone. A lot of it takes away from what you would normally be paying someone to do in paperwork, so the solution's gonna be a little bit pricey if you came back for the extra modules at about $16,000 a year. But on the back end of that, you just think of it like you're paying an employee. It's actually gonna be saving us money in the long run from all the paperwork from the permits. It also has agenda and minutes management software, so people that sign up for notifications about public meetings, you'll get notified and you get a copy of the agenda attached with that as well. So all that stuff will be accessible up front. It'll be user friendly. There's a complaint system that's gonna be built into it where people can go in and report things going on in town. They can even drop a pin on a map as well and then write a little bit about it and it gets sent out to staff. Gosh, what else? Inspections, building inspections. So whenever people come in and we have our permitting software solution online, they can come in, they fill out the permitting software that's on our website, and then it gets shot over immediately to our building code inspector, and then at that point, that person can schedule it accordingly, and then they can communicate with the applicant back and forth. It has all their information right there. Then they can go in and check to see what the status of their building inspection is gonna be, what time that's gonna occur, pass, fail, or recommended changes, etc. And then on the back end, the administrative users can view a dashboard about, what the workflow is. So has this street been repaired? Has this code, like has the grass been mowed here? Or has this building been inspected, XYZ? You can see what is past due, what is currently going on, and what is coming down the pipe. And so you can kind of verify your employees' productivity based upon that. So that's a really handy tool to make sure that our town's working as it should be. So it's a little bit expensive software, but then again, everyone else's quotes, they come in around the same. It's about $15,000, $20,000 to get a professionally done website. This one just has the modules that are included with it. I'd also like to get a module called Municode, and you'll see that later on a separate quote. And that one should be, I think it'll be about $2,500, but what that does is it takes our code of ordinances and it makes it easily accessible for people to come in and search through it. So that way, instead of it just being a PDF file, you can just type in a phrase or etc., and then it'll just automatically trigger all of the things that it's found with those phrases on there. It just makes it really easy for people to come in and check out an ordinance that's online. They also offer codification procedures and publicizing of our ordinances as well a couple of times throughout each year. So that way, as we continue to pass more ordinances or make amendments to our existing ordinances, our code is constantly up to date, online, easily accessed. So moving on from that, I think really what you guys want to hear about this, I just kind of gave you a wall of text of everything that I've been doing. Really what you guys want to hear about is the police, right? So where are we at with our police station? So I've hosted several meetings with Lexipol. What Lexipol does is they work with the state. They're a law enforcement organization that creates police manuals, SOPs, and police policies. So they work with the state to ensure that best practices in law enforcement are being enacted in all police departments in the state of Oklahoma. So we got a contract in with you guys, and that happened during our last special meeting. So I got all my policies back, I got my manuals back, and that's going to be packaged in with our application to CLEAT. The two things that I need right now that are left, that are in limbo, is an interlocal agreement for dispatch services and an interlocal agreement for jailing services. McCurtain County 911, Wade Patterson, he's been absolutely helpful. He's been so great to work with. Very excited to work with him. We sat down last week and we went over the proposed draft. We recommended a couple of changes here and there, but I think we've got a document that you guys are actually going to be voting on today that we're very comfortable with, both parties here. So that would be mutually beneficial. So that would be a huge check off. That box for requirement. And then the next one is for the jailing services agreement. So their next meeting is on the 16th. I actually have a meeting tomorrow with the sheriff. We're getting lunch, and we're gonna go over this drafted agreement for jailing services, and we'll just kind of hash it back and forth and make sure it looks good before we bring it to you guys and before we bring it to them to sign off on. But once we get both of those agreements executed, we will basically meet all of the requirements in the application process for police department, and I'm hoping that we can get that done as soon as possible, because Cleet's next board meeting is April 26th, and I have to get that done like about a week before April 26th for us to make it onto the agenda. I'm really hopeful that we can push this through and get this done, because if we don't, that means we'll have to wait several more months before the next Cleet board, because they meet quarterly. So really hoping we can get this pushed through and get that completed.
I mean, that we'll probably need to have a special meeting to approve the jail services agreement.
Yep.
So that we can make that deadline, but it will be short and limited. We've already got it drafted and ready to go. It's super reasonable, just need to get all the right approvals, so.
Yep, moving on from police, now on to fire. I'm arranging meetings right now with the rural fire coordinator, Lucas Underwood, and the Rural Fire Coordinator Association of Oklahoma chairman, so he's the head of the association, Perry Brenniger, and I'm trying to make arrangements for them to come down and visit town, and then us put together a plan on how we can best help out our fire station here. Anything else from that? Attended meetings, multiple meetings with county commissioners. I offered my services to help them out on a project. They've had some initiative here from Linda. Thank you, Linda, for putting that together and pushing for that, advocating for trash cleanup across our county. They asked for help. I offered some help. I ran up the chain, Department of Corrections. I got a hold of the McLeod warden. His name is Cameron. Great guy, super easy to talk to. We built a great relationship over a phone call, and now I'm gonna try and put together a lunch between one of the commissioners, myself, and the warden. But the warden is very interested in helping out, getting some trash cleanup crews in McCurtain County. So we're gonna try and work something out, and we'll just have to keep pushing for it until something gets done about it. But that connection is there. Yes, sir.
One question, not to discourage McLeod coming down here, whatever, but was our actual county warden, like, do they have no interest in providing the same thing that this guy's actually?
Cause I do know the
Like the
county.
county itself.
Like McCurtain County.
Yeah,
They
Like
have
the
no.
McCurtain County Jail?
Yeah,
I
sheriff's
haven't
office.
spoken with them about it. I kind of figured John might have spoken with them. Do you know if they spoke with
They
them
talked
about
about that they don't have the crew, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the,
So they had all the reasons not to do it.
Well, interestingly enough, they were out picking up trash last week and the week
they
before.
said they can't do county, they can't do highways, they can only do county. Like a or were they
Okay.
liaison? Were they on a county road?
They were just picking up, it was one of my construction workers and had a few days.
it? And I hadn't had a chance yet.
He's been outside.
I haven't had a chance yet to ask the warden yet if they do highway cleanups as well, so I don't have an answer on that one yet, but hopefully they do, and if not, you know what, any help is better than no help at all.
That's
So,
right.
we're just gonna keep pushing together and, make this happen. A bunch of other stuff, we had meetings, I had B&B Technologies come down here, pay us a visit, and we drew up a blueprint of the building here and on the building plan. We established where we're gonna run conduit, where we're gonna do our cable drops, where we're gonna set up our computers, our phone systems, our servers, our cloud server backup, systems, and then also our security systems for our IT to make sure that we don't get, hacked, because every day we move forward, more and more communities are compromised. So, they offer state-of-the-art, protection solutions. I've worked with them in multiple other communities. They work with other banks. They work with hospitals and other cities and towns in the state of Oklahoma. So they're solid. I trust their work, and we're going to keep moving forward to outfit this building right here so we can get staff in it full time and just keep chugging along. Does anyone have any questions about anything? I know I kind of overlooked a bunch.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna, ask, I'm assuming we still have, the assistant administrator position open, and we're still looking at that for the.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to fill,
Yes.
Has there been any new applicants or?
Yeah, we do have an applicant for the administrative assistant position, but we did, okay, so that actually is in my report and I skimmed over it. We did interview an applicant for the assistant clerk and the assistant treasurer position. And then, I'll provide you guys with a report on the happenings from that one later on. And then I'll continue to keep you guys in the loop of when the next interviews, will occur.
I hear it says, town judge and town prosecutor, separate
Yes, sir.
positions. And we've got candidates. When do we need to have, is this part of the plea deal? Do we need to have these
Yes, sir.
positions filled before we can?
Yes, sir. So we'll actually need to provide an agreement for the prosecutor and an agreement for the judge. They're gonna cost you about $250 a month. That's a very fair average pay. That's what most cities and towns across the state pay their prosecutors and judges. It's court, it's a month.
Because they
Now,
only come one
it's a
day.
month because they come one day, and usually in a community our size, it's less than an hour worth of work. Now, Newcastle, they pay their prosecutor and their judge $240 an hour because they have court all day long, hundreds of tickets. That's a little bit of a different situation, so it's just $250, they come out, they run court. We have, Mr. Charles Ward here, who's interested in becoming our first judge, he also meets our credential requirements. And then also, Chris Chandler, who is, set up to be our prosecutor, and, Liz here has done a great job. Liz here did a great job, and she went ahead and pulled the agreements together, so we got some agreements, in shape that I'm gonna look over, and I hadn't even asked her for it yet, so that was pretty awesome, I was really impressed by that. She just saw it, coming down the pipe, and she jumped all over it. So thank you for that. Yeah, that's generally about it. It's been a lot this month. I'm excited to get our first computer plugged in over here. I think we just got it in the mail today, and then I get to install our HBoT software, which is a part of our requirements for clean services. I'm just really worried about those interlocal agreements, because if we can get those in place in time, that's gonna be the determining factor if we're gonna have to wait another couple months or not. So
I need a 30-day notice on all this so I can practice
not speeding.
following the law.
You don't wanna be the first prisoner to go in front of the first judge.
And you know I will be.
I got one more question. Have you had any conversations with the county solid waste?
Yeah, that was part of our conversation
That's-
with
that's
the
all.
trash
That
cleanup.
was the whole meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about setting up crews. We went back and forth on some ideas of how we're gonna put together trash cleanup crews. I think the county's interested in hiring on a couple people. Solid Waste is interested in putting up 10% of whatever funds. I'm not sure if that was 10% of the total cost or 10%.
They were gonna match whatever the MCTA.
Okay, the tourism
We
authority. Okay.
committed to 10%, and they said they'd match MCTA's
10%
of the, I'm not gonna say, I don't know if I have the right terminology to say.
The total cost or?
No, I think of monies received.
Oh, the.
Right.
will be
budget.
dedicated to.
Will be dedicated to that
To
program.
that. Okay.
But all of that is sitting at the DA's office waiting for opinions.
Okay.
Because we can't really start anything until we make sure everything is legal.
Right.
And, so, the last, we knew when we left, John Williams, our commissioner, was following up with the DA. We're hoping that that doesn't just sit there, that we can get some opinions.
And I'm assuming that's just about regular trash pickup. Was there any
So,
discussion?
no,
on-
about the whole program,
Okay.
about, go ahead.
I was saying, was there any discussion on opening these green boxes up?
Well, I was
More
told
often.
by my director not to bring that up at that meeting, so I
Okay.
did not, but I went to them afterwards as a private citizen. And I was told it was never going to happen. And I said, well, I will be the thorn in your foot.
Good.
And they all laughed at me, but I was pulled aside by one of the board of directors and said that he was only appointed and took that position on solid waste because he believed in all of this trash cleanup and green boxes. So I felt like we got 1 out of 3
That's good.
on the board that's
Willing to.
supporting
Yeah,
it.
one more.
Yeah,
Okay.
but this is not over, and we meet again on May 3rd. I'm coming back, we're gonna keep on.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. Anything else?
I just had a question. Have you gotten a report or any kind of statement of, work from the fire coordinator guy that we hired? Have you gotten
Yes, I have.
follow-up from him? So it's,
I have.
okay.
What would you like?
Well, I was just wondering if there was anything coming of that.
It's being reviewed,
Okay,
and there are some decisions that will need to be made about
okay,
that.
okay, cool. I was just wondering if you had received anything from him and if that
That's
was still a thing going on.
That's a whole nother package deal that needs to
Okay.
be, sorted through,
Okay.
and, work needs to be verified first before I would recommend payment.
Okay, oh,
Um, so, and I know that that's coming up,
mm.
so,
All right,
yes, ma'am. Anybody else?
Any further discussion? Do we need to accept his report? Like we
no,
did the
it
treasurer's
was just,
report?
it was, well, it was discussion only, so.
Oh, it is discussion only, so you're good.
Okay, alright. Thank you, Adam. Let's move on to, where are we at? Here we go. Item number 10, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve engaging Civic Plus for website development services, including an initial setup fee and a first-year cost totaling $23,408, with the second year at $4,996 for website and $11,445 for community development, totaling $16,441 in year 2. Any discussion? Now, this is what you just talked.
Yes, that's what I just talked about. If anyone has any questions, if you want me to go over it again, if you wanna wait, that's fine too. Whatever you wanna do, I've gone through multiple different web servicing providers, and I believe this to be one of the strongest, and, I'm familiar with their system. I've worked with them in governments before, and they do tens of thousands of municipal websites. They are a very premier solution.
I think that, a good note to make on that too is that they actually do a lot of tourist-based towns websites.
Yes.
Moab, Branson, so, yeah, I found them last year, I remember looking through them, and I think their price point's good compared to what we've dealt with in the past.
I've reviewed the contract and have no legal concerns about it. I think, if y'all are happy with the services, that no concerns on my end. It is a 1 year, like, it's 1 year renewable, so it complies with all of our, 1 year budget issues.
I mean, the 16 a year is very reasonable and fair compared to most businesses.
Yes.
Paying anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a month anyway, so
Yeah.
it's a fair price.
Especially the hourly, labor that would be involved if we didn't have some of the functionality that it's gonna provide. So, I mean, you're gonna have to pay someone to do those roles if we don't have modules that cover it.
Well, the thing about a town website is compared to not static, but a website for a company, you put all your stuff out there and you're not having to update it all the time. We are constantly having to upload things to our website to keep all of our minutes and agendas and ordinances and stuff out there. So this is specifically designed for that
Transparency.
functionality, so.
And everything Adam detailed, that's included is really important and, you know, would cost additional if you were to hire someone to do that on stuff.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say a very special and big thank you to Shelley and Skip for helping us out through all this. And Shelley, have you had a chance to look at this, and do you know these people, and?
So we met with Adam and we agree this is the perfect website company.
Then I say yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whenever I first started getting quotes and looking at the quality of work that was involved with municipal website design, I instantly got with Skip and Shelley because their experience is invaluable here in this community. And so they were one of the first people that I reached out to get their opinion on, and if it looked good, I sent them over the price points and some examples.
And this is what these people do. This is their specialty. And I really felt like the price points were really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
And thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
to make a motion that we accept this.
I make a motion we accept it.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Janet Kress,
Yes.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Motion carries. Okay, item number 11. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a Bearwise Supplies request, including a laminating machine and laminating supplies at a cost not to exceed $500.
Okay, bears are getting very popular in McCurtain County, and especially in Hochatown, and while we were sitting here waiting to start, everybody was telling the bear story, everybody in here seen a bear. And,
I have not.
me neither, thank
Really?
goodness. I've always said it's because my dogs are too loud, that's why I haven't seen a bear. But Carissa and I, in the library, would like to start a Bearwise program where we can have, owners of cabins and management companies come in and get, information to put into their cabins. We have a laminating machine, of course, we can laminate it if they wanted to just leave it or post it on the refrigerator or wherever. If they want to put it in their, activity binders, then of course would do this kind of stuff. This whole pack right there was given to us by the, Oklahoma Wildlife Bearwise program. The rest of them, we can print it off, and then there's a bunch over there. There's about 10 down there in English, and they're in Spanish, and there's all different types of vacation tips that are over there. One of the things we're gonna have to do is encourage people to not have bird feeders and take their grills off their porches and keep their grills clean. Those are the two biggest impacts of bears in our area and visiting our cabins is for this. Part of this program is to get started on this and be proactive and not wait till we have an incident that could be harmful, and then we have to scramble to get on a Bearwise type of program. So Shelley helped me get a Facebook page going on Bearwise, and we only have about 500 members or something right now, but it's growing, and we post a lot of that on the two main owner investor groups, and we just need to and bears, I've learned so much about bears, and they're precious, and they're just trying to feed their babies and take care of business, and we took over their land, you know? So we gotta learn how to work with them and not hurt them. And one of the things that Chris and I talked about too, Carissa is doing an outstanding job in the library. I am telling you what. If you're not on the Hochatown Library Facebook page, get on it. She is constantly having fun with the kiddos. So, in turn, with this Bearwise stuff, I wanna get her a bear so that she can put in the library to take pictures with the babies. And of course, I could get things wholesale, and you know, so this bear right here, and he's 4 foot tall, and wouldn't it be cute to take a picture with him? Wouldn't you love that?
We need a picture of Chad with the bear.
Is it all?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's my wholesale price for that bear. So, that's kind of a start to getting people aware of bears and what to do about it. Another thing that, kind of goes along with the program, maybe a little bit separate of it, is having a way to, people panic and call 911, and, they've been hurt, here's this all this around, and, scared of the bear, and the the Oklahoma Wildlife doesn't have like a 311 phone number or 211, you know, something real simple that we can post for people. They have a regular phone number, 918 so-and-so and so-and-so. And it's very, this program is called What 3 Words? And it's something that we can start with the Bearwise program and work into other programs. And it's really cool I encourage everybody to put it on your phones, put the app on your phone, and everywhere you're at, you're in a Bendigo's, open it up, push the button, and it gives you 3 words, it puts you exactly where you're at. I learned about this in the emergency management meeting when we were there this last time, with 911 operators made a comment, I wish everybody did, 3 words, and I'm like, whoa, and I wrote it down. I did talk to Wade Patterson about it, and he's going to get back, he's gonna research this some more, he's pretty impressed. Cody McDaniels, our emergency management coordinator, absolutely loves it. It could be a tool that we use for people, especially lost in the forest, encountered by a bear on a trail, they don't know what to do. They call 911, they're in panic, where you at, they don't know. Open your 3 words program, and it boom, 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 they know exactly where they're at. Now, Wade did say that Wade Patterson is the 911 director. He did say that they can pretty much know where you're at by your phones these days when you call in. However, this is you can use in the middle of the lake, and it pinpoint exactly where you're at so that they can send. But that's one of the things moving forward that we need to be able to have, is a way that people know when they come into this area, they're hiking in the woods or wherever they're at, to be able to have a way to identify where they are. And we can start introducing that with the Bearwise program. But everybody put that on your phone, it's really
Is this
cool.
similar to the forestry website?
The forestry website is a whole different thing, and that is not only identifying roads, basically.
Okay.
And then the e-cop, program, doesn't help if you're in the woods or on a trail at all.
What if you don't have cell service, does the 3 words still somehow in GPS or something? Because that could mean half the time.
And that's another thing that, Google Maps does not work well down here at all. 911 gets a lot of phone calls from our guests that cannot find their cabins. And to the point that they're very frustrated because they get a lot of phone calls and can't get, a lot of these people book through VRBO, Airbnb, not a cabin operator. So they book through somebody that does not answer a phone call, and they can't find a cabin. And so who do they call? 911.
Well, I know the forestry app was, it will connect.
With GPS?
Yeah.
But,
I don't know if this.
the Google mapping thing that 911 uses should be, by the end of the year, should be updated where they can get people more to their cabins. So, yeah, it's going, yes, exactly. So that's a huge step right there for 911. But, as far as, so anyway, that's kind of what we're doing on Bearwise, and, we've already got it started. We just need to take, another step towards educating everybody on bears. And having info available, and toys for the kids. Hi, Carissa. Yes.
So we make a motion for the, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Bearwise supplies request. 500, not to exceed 500. Do we have a second?
I have a question first. We're getting more and more town equipment, equipment, hard stuff. We've got to start a book for inventory with tracking numbers and barcodes on them. Question is, where's this laminator gonna be put at? Who's gonna be responsible for it?
Carissa.
We should start a labeling system though.
We have to start some type of identification and labeling system for everything we've got.
That'll help the accountants too.
You want to do that before?
I'm this is where we discuss things, and we're just gonna ask, you know, we've got a ton of stuff given to us by the wildlife department, state, all of that.
I can put a little tracking system down and we can do some labels.
And my question is this what we need to be spending town money on to educate people in McCurtain County or Hochatown that there's bears in the woods?
Well, you either do it now or wait till somebody gets seriously hurt and then
Well, I
do
mean,
it then.
we were not even a town up until a year ago, so the bears have been in the woods a long time. There've been cabins up here for the last 30 years that I know of. I don't know if anybody's got hurt by bears yet. We've had sightings. I'm just, I just wanna make sure we're aware of what we're spending our citizens' money for and why. So, if you feel like that's what we need to do, then.
I guess we have in my opinion, if it's the park that's handling the park, they're gonna handle the park and their residents that are staying there. If no one in the city limits is providing any form of, this type of measure to add to an added safety measure for guests that are coming out of cities and are not acclimated, familiar with, our territory and our country, I think it's our responsibility until someone steps up to do that. Because there's children involved, there's families involved. If the Forestry Service doesn't step up and do it, I think a measure like this is a good responsible measure to take to educate. And unless someone else, some entity is gonna take care of it, I think it's a good measure for us. It's something that I think is gonna add safety and education to the people that are coming up for about 1,000. So, I mean, my only question is just how do we, are these gonna be issued from the cabin management companies, or are these gonna be sit in the library for people to pick up, or? Both, okay. So, yeah, I think that's the question. If we had.
So how many of these things do we print up? We're gonna, $500. We got over 2,000 cabins. How many of these things we print up, and do we add to this number later on? What do we do? I mean,
We have
we
all
spend $500 for bear watch and then we're done? Or what, I mean,
Yeah.
is this an ongoing thing?
Here's my question.
And there again, we talked about this in one of our last meetings, it's not responsibility of the town of Hochatown to be putting things in cabins. It's up to cabin management, owners, we talked about our communication numbers and our responsibility of property owners, numbers that we, the town, need. We don't need to be posting anything in cabins. So, is this gonna have Hochatown.gov printed on the bottom of it? I just don't think it's,
No, it's not. I mean, this is the Oklahoma Wildlife. They provided us with all of those flyers back there. I'm sure if I ask them for more, I can get them. I wanna be able to give the owners
if
other
that
options.
be the fact, then that Oklahoma Wildlife furnish us a ton of these and put them in the library, put it on the webpage, or put it on the Facebook page, and let them come get it. If they want to put it in their cabins.
Is the $500 here, is that for the laminating machine and supplies? That's what it's.
And possibly buying, the bear for the library.
Okay, and so this, can we use this laminating machine for things other than the Bear Wise program?
Of course.
Okay. Basically, we're just approving a piece of equipment here that we
Continue to use
that we can use.
multitude of reasons, yeah.
So I guess that's the question, do we wanna purchase this equipment that we can keep here and use for other things as well?
I mean, I think what,
We'll need to laminate
I
something.
think what you
at some
said,
point.
I mean, it makes sense if this is gonna be something we're gonna, continually work on, and I say,
You made the motion, I'll second it.
yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded.
Roll call vote to approve the beer wise supplies request. Janet Kress,
Yep.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the purchase of 30 CPR adult children rescue masks for the CERT team members at a cost not to exceed $300. Does this fall under the same?
Well, I think there's a way to do this if you guys want to. You would need to own the town would have to own the equipment and let them use it. You couldn't buy it and give it to CRT because then it would be a donation. But if the town purchased 30 CPR adult child and rescue masks and permitted the CRT team to use it, I think we avoid the legal concern. Now, that's up to you guys on all the substantive
Yeah, 'cause
opinions you may have about that, but from a legal position, we couldn't give them the, masks, but the town could own them and allow them to use them.
Would that be-
Kit whenever they're out in the field and
Right.
they're responding to an emergency, they'll need to have that in their bag.
Even if later on we approve that interlocal agreement, would that still apply?
At that time, it would be different, but for now, the town would need to
Okay.
own those. But if we enter into an interlocal agreement, at that point, we have some involvement and control, and it could still be considered ours, but CRT using it. But right now, we couldn't just give it to them without running into that
So we need
legal
to-
conundrum.
We can permit them to use them, but whenever the town needs them back, we can.
Yes,
Well,
we would.
But we would never want to.
I don't foresee an issue with that. I don't foresee
Yeah,
that. I don't see that happening, but technical.
Is this a disposable thing, use once and throw away? What is this thing?
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture somewhere. There's a picture right here in your binder.
Adult child rescue.
Yeah, I didn't make copies of that, so I
No.
can pass this around.
There.
So this is use once and throw away?
I think
don't
you
believe so.
put a, it's
Put
a
a cover, yeah.
plastic thing in
Put
there.
a cover over it.
And throw it away. This, if I might add to this, on all the CERT stuff, that, Mayor Diane is a big supporter of CERT, she is a team member of CERT. We did, talk about this purchase. And this is something that she wanted to do for CERT, and let alone she also wanted to, pay for the training for CERT, so, and I appreciate.
And I don't have a problem with any of that, we just have to make sure we
Mhm.
jump through the statutory hoops to be able to do so if you guys want to.
Since that's-
Got it.
Since that's something that we're probably looking at doing, this
Local agreement.
interlocal agreement, then do we just wait
Yeah.
and get that interlocal agreement done, and then we can approve these things without having
I
to?
mean, we could do that very quickly.
Yes.
So, I just don't know if they're needing this for like next week or
No.
something. Okay, that was my biggest concern. If they don't need it for next week, I would prefer to do the interlocal agreement first, and then
And then
to
go,
help purchase whatever equipment that they need. That, it makes it easier for y'all legally. So we could just take no action if you wanted to do that, and then Adam and I could work on the interlocal agreement.
Let's do that.
Still need a motion.
I'll make a motion to, take no action on item 12 till further discussion for the CPR mask.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Dana Kress,
Yes.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
yes,
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
okay, number 12 is done, on to number 13, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-02, a resolution of the town of Hochatown adopting by reference the trust indenture titled Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund and authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute the agreement to pool funds with other Oklahoma cities and towns for the purposes of administration, investment, and management.
Long story short, these are the documents that the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund require us to pass in order to get our employee retirement plan set up. And I can't remember the timing, is it July? That if we do these now, it'll be there in time for July, which is the earliest eligibility for our first employee. It'll also be there for any future employees that we have. So this isn't anything that impacts or isn't changes how our citizens operate or imposes any obligations on them. This is just an internal setting up our retirement fund so that we have happy, healthy employees and can attract other employees to our municipality.
fund, if you want any contribution,
They're looking at you.
He knows I'm looking
We want to keep him happy.
will we at some time in the future, will there be a contribution or a match that we need to? that we'll
Yeah,
have to do?
and that's all kind of, like, Adam's contract specifically talks about what that is for him in there, and then we'll adopt those policies going forward for employees on matches and contribution limits and all that sort of stuff. But the first thing we gotta do is get the fund set up. So this ordinance allows us to do that, and then, well, I'm sorry, the first thing is a resolution. The next thing is an ordinance, which is, it's all the same stuff. We just have to have both the resolution and an ordinance.
I make a motion, we adopt the resolution for the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Janet Kress.
Yep.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent. Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
Ooh, good luck, Todd, I'm reading number 14.
Easy.
You're gonna have to choose.
Easy breezy.
Okay. All right, on to item number 14. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve ordinance number 7, an ordinance adopting an employee retirement system defined contribution plan for county administrator for the town of Hochatown, Oklahoma, providing retirement benefits for eligible employees of the town of Hochatown, providing for purpose and organization, providing for definitions, providing for eligibility and participation, providing for employer and employee contributions, providing for accounting and allocation and valuation, providing benefits, providing for required notice, providing for amendments and termination, providing for transfer to and from other plans, creating a committee and providing for powers, duties, and rights of committee, providing for payment of certain obligations, providing for duration and payment of expenses, providing for effective date, providing for vesting schedules, providing for a fund to finance the system to be pooled with other incorporated cities, towns, and their agencies and instrumentalities for purpose of administration, management, and investment as a part of the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund, providing for payment of all contributions under the system to the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund for management and investment, providing for non-alienation of benefits, adopting those amendments mandated by the Internal Revenue Code, providing for employer pickup of required contributions, providing for repealer and severability, and declaring an emergency.
Good job.
Flawless, man. That was good.
Lightheaded.
And the down and dirty is?
It's just the ordinance that allows us to set up the retirement plan. So we have to have both the resolution and the ordinance, and then you'll see this next item setting up the authorization to sign.
Okay, make a motion, we approve the ordinance.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Everyone on Howard for the roll call.
Yeah, we'll just take a minute. Chad, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Take a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Roll call vote.
Okay, hey Howard, are you ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. Janet Kress.
Yes.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent. Todd McDaniel.
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
Okay. Item number 14 is done. On to item number 15, discussion, consideration, and possible action to designate authorized agent to act on behalf of the town of Hochatown in matters pertaining to the town's retirement plan and fund through the Oklahoma Municipal Retirement Fund. Who is this agent?
It's typically the mayor or the chairman, depending on what kind of form of government you are. So I would just make a motion to approve the mayor, because that might not always be the same person, to be the authorized agent on behalf of the trustees to execute the document.
And so Liz, I've got that document, like a fillable form online, and, who can I go to for some of this stuff, like the effective date and all of
If you
that?
wanna
Would that
just
be
leave,
us?
if you wanna leave any of that blank, that's fine.
Okay,
The stuff that isn't, like the effective date, I mean, that's really probably the only thing.
and then.
Cause the approved authorized agent will be acting mayor, and I would say for now, just put, Diane's name in there, obviously,
Okay,
but, I would
can you
leave,
make that designation acting mayor?
that's who we should make the motion on, is whoever the current mayor is.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because if that's different, a year from now, we want this agreement to still be,
Right.
valid.
Right, and then
Be the mayor,
Adam, do
Charlie.
I give this back to you, or
Yes.
where does that go?
Yeah, and then I'll package it all together to get to the right people at the, fund.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Ron Patterson's been the one helping navigate all this, and I'm copied on all the emails, so I'll make
Okay.
sure that it gets turned in, and I'll copy you so that you know,
Okay,
where it
cool.
needs to go. Thank you.
Make a motion, we approve the town's retirement plan and fund. Good enough?
Well, I would say, make a motion to designate the acting mayor as the authorized agent for the
Okay.
town's fund.
What she said.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay, Janet Kress,
Yep.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
Okay, item number 15, done. On to number 16. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-03, a resolution of the mayor and board of trustees of the town of Hochatown, McCurtain County, state of Oklahoma, notifying the public of the publication of ordinances number 4, 5, and 6, directing the town clerk to file a copy of this resolution with the McCurtain County clerk, directing the town clerk to file a copy of this resolution and the ordinances with the McCurtain County Law Library, directing the town clerk to keep at least 3 copies of the ordinances in the office of the town clerk for public use, inspection, and examination.
This is just procedural, these are the ordinances we already passed, the animal ordinances and the STR. We've published those, we
Yes.
have to pass the resolution just saying we've done all the things we're supposed to do. So
Okay.
that's all this is, there's no action that anybody needs to do. We take care of submitting it to McCurtain County
Okay.
and all that, so you don't need to actually do anything, we'll take care of that as council. And we'll
Okay.
make sure you know it's been
Okay,
done.
cool.
Yes, not adding to your plate.
It was a lot of stuff.
Yes, you're good, we got you. We had to figure out how to explain to them what we were doing, so we'll just continue to handle getting that submitted to the clerk.
Okay, cool.
I make the motion, we approve resolution number 2024-03. Is that good enough?
That's perfect.
A second.
Okay, Jan Kress,
Yep.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
Right, item number 17, discussion, consideration, and possible action to authorize the town administrator to negotiate with the McCurtain County Jail Trust and provide recommendations to the Board of Trustees regarding entering into an interlocal agreement for the provisions of jailing services for the town of Hochatown.
I make a motion, we approve number 17 for the town administrator to negotiate for the interlocal agreement, which we discussed previously.
I'll second.
Okay, Janet Kress,
Yep.
Howard Haggard,
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
All right, number 18, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve interlocal agreement with McCurtain County 911 Trust Authority for the provision of 911 dispatch services for the town of Hochatown.
Adam, you have anything you wanna add to that?
No, not really. At this time, it will be at no cost to us for these services. The start date I've scheduled for May 1, which I don't even think we'll have our police department operational by May 1, so they won't even really be dispatching calls or rendering that service to us. I did offer Mr. Patterson that, obviously, I'd help him out with any grant opportunities that come available, so that way we can continue building that program out for the county overall, not just Hochatown. But if it starts getting to the point where it's bogging down their operations to handle dispatch for Hochatown, then we will absolutely come to the table and we will negotiate out at a later date, you know, once everything's online and we're working, we will come to the table and we'll talk about, you know, does the town need to pay for equipment upgrades or computers or personnel, et cetera. But at this time, in this current meeting, this contract as it currently stands, there is no cost additional to this community.
How we've drafted it is the total cost to Hochatown for the provision of dispatch services shall be mutually agreed to and approved by their respective governing bodies before the initiation of services. So we just don't know what our volume is gonna be at all to be able to predict what we're gonna need to pay. So the agreement requires us, with the approval of both bodies, to negotiate that amount. At a future point in time, we didn't wanna hold up because of that, since he needs it for the cleat, approval. So this gives us some flexibility to talk about what we need to pay
Yep,
reasonably in the future.
it's on a yearly basis, and this agreement also requires our future police chief every June to meet with their authority, to meet with their director and talk things over, see what needs to change for the next occurring contract, and then that police chief will come back to this board here and make a briefing to you guys about if there are any changes that need to occur and what those need to look like.
Make the motion, we approve the 911 Trust Authority, dispatch service.
A second.
Okay, Janet Kress,
Yep.
Howard Haggard.
Yes.
Diane Jordan is absent, Todd McDaniel,
Yes.
Chad Sargent.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries.
All right, on to number 19, discussion, consideration, and possible action to convene into executive session pursuant to Title 25 of Oklahoma statute to discuss the hiring of an administrative assistant to the town administrator.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
And I'll second it.
Part 1 of the April 4th Hochatown Board of Trustees meeting will conclude at this time. Part 2 will follow.